I, 28/M, have an extremely difficult time telling if women are flirting with me or being friendly. Throwaway because friends know my account. Backstory: I got out of a long-term relationship, 6 years plus, over a year and a half. Along with the COVID issue, I found my biggest problem is that I have difficulty reading whether women are being flirty or friendly. Case in point, I've known a woman for some time and we've been friends, recently reconnecting. She's been handsy, will laugh and put her hand on me, lean on me, or touch/grab my arm when talking, etc. But in situations like saying goodbye where I'm dropping her off or leaving wherever etc., where I'd expect a signal, I get a friendlier vibe like just a hug, no pause. Admittedly, I haven't initiated either. Some friends have told me I'm probably overthinking and she probably wants me to make the first move, but I don't want to overstep and possibly ruin the friendship. I honestly just feel like I have no idea what I'm doing anymore, and the anxiety is killing me. Too long didn't read. How do I tell flirting from friendly without jeopardizing a friendship? Some friends have told me I'm probably overthinking and she probably wants me to make the first move, but I don't want to overstep and possibly ruin the friendship. It's not like you are going to do something rash like trying to kiss her. What exactly is the crime of inviting her out on a date? How do these ladies behave with other people? Some ladies are touchy-feely people, some are not, some are generally chatty, some are not. Some get giggly and silly when interested, some get more quiet. I would use clues like how they behave with other people, same sex and opposite sex, to make a determination if they are flirty/into you or not. That might be part of the issue. With COVID, it's difficult to get a real sense of general interaction, and we haven't been in a situation where the opposite sex is around us both at the same time. You'll never know the situation unless you go for it. Women like men who are very direct and don't fuss around. You don't want it to be something you regret later on. That's why my friends have largely said I'm overthinking and should just go for it. It's just not that easy for me, I guess. You and every other person in the world. What do you want? If you are interested in dating her, ask her out on a date. Oh man, this is like the most typical guy problem. I always assume they are simply being friendly, just to be safe. Long, military fiancé doesn't handle work stress well. Too long didn't read. Fiancé doesn't handle his work stress well. He takes work conflicts very personally, and can't switch it off when he gets home. I usually get iced out as a result. This is something I've noticed many times, but I never take it personally, even though I'm low-key annoyed how he treats me when he's stressed. He works as an officer for the military, which is only important to note because of the bureaucracy, bluntness and bullshit involved with career progression/changes within the industry. I used to work in a corporate building, downtown, and in project management, but now work from home MF 9 to 5, and we've relocated recently due to his work. I knew nobody in the city we moved to, but through mutual friends have made one connection. Given circumstances, obviously me and this new acquaintance haven't hung out much but get along really well. So naturally, working from home and having no network here, I'm pretty isolated but keep in regular touch via FaceTime and texting with my best friends and family. Moving on to the situation, my fiancé had a shitty day at work. The issue is that I feel like when something bad or inconvenient happens, he blows it out of proportion and comes home raging on in dramatic statements that I haven't absolutely no idea how to respond to. He's trying to do a transfer between military units because he's not happy in his current position, and one of his bosses apparently making it clear that he doesn't support him. I can't remember verbatim what he said, and I'll paraphrase by saying that his boss doesn't support his switch, will make it actively harder for him to do this because of 10 reasons why, and then listed them out. That he won't be successful and that he isn't qualified enough in his current position. The truth behind this is that due to the backlog of training, he hasn't completed current testing/courses to be fully qualified. He need to this even qualify for the transfer. He says it in such a way that is so aggressive and matter of fact that I don't even know what to say. I'm not a depender, sorry if that term offends anyone, so I don't know what the intricacies of the military are. He speaks in his own military language, that I have tried. Lord knows I've tried to understand, but it's almost like he doesn't really care that I understand. It's almost like he prefers I don't understand the terms, how it works etc., because he speaks in such a fast, acronym heavy way, and anything I suggest just gets shut down, so I literally don't even know what to say or do. In the past I've tried to talk to him and ask questions, but it's usually shut down by some sort of no that I just stop trying. Today, he came home late and after barely saying hello started going on about this work shit. He went on for about 5 minutes and then sat down to do extra work that his boss sprung on him that he had to have completely for tomorrow. He muttered about how he didn't have time to cook dinner, which was fine because he got around 6:15 p.m. anyways, so I was already planning on cooking for us both, especially since he has a shitty say. So I told him I'd cook him dinner. He eats meat, I don't, so all I really had to do extra was throw his meat on the stove, no big hassle, in additions to our sides and salad. Dinner probably took me about 45 to 60 minutes to prepare. During dinner, we chatted a little bit, but he was still agitated about work, so I stopped initiating conversation about both his work and random topics to hopefully get his mind off it momentarily. He finished his meal before me, so he pushed his plate to the side and started working on his laptop while I finished mine in silence. I knew he was busy, so I didn't mind cleaning up dinner either, but he didn't even clear his plate off the table. We have a condo, so it's probably 3 feet between the dining table and the kitchen. It took me over an hour to clean up dinner for us, with loading the dishwasher and scrubbing pans and baking sheets. And again, I get it, he's busy, but Jesus Christ, you see me in the kitchen from 6 to 9 p.m. and you can't even clear your plate. It helped me load the dishwasher for 5 minutes. I put in my headphones, so I was fine cleaning and listening to music. Keep in mind I'm only about 3 to 6 feet away from him in full view the entire time, so he can see what I'm doing. Knowing he was too mentally committed to his work to clean out his lunch bag, I decided to clean it out and pack his lunch for him for tomorrow. I brought him the vitamins he forgot to take. I put the kettle on and brought him his favorite cup of evening tea while I cleaned the rest of the kitchen. At about 9:15 p.m. I finally finish cleaning, grab my glass of wine and head to the bedroom. He waves me down, because I have headphones in, and I assume he's going to say something nice like thanks for making dinner and cleaning up. But he asks me to take another cup of tea for him. I pause and I'm like, you're 3 feet away from the kettle. You can't get up and do it? And he reacts so quickly, pretty rudely, and says, I'm going to be up 4 hours tonight working. So I just went and did it for him. What I should have done is grab the nearest tape measure out the distance from him to the kettle and said, hey, I'm pretty sure I've seen you walk that far before. Let me be clear when I say that I understand the importance of supporting each other when the other is stressed. I feel like I do that. I listen, I'm silent support, but always will to lend an ear and validate his feelings of frustration. I try to suggest things for him. But tonight, when I feel like I did so many little things that he didn't even ask for, and the one thing I slightly raise a stink about he flips on it was just bullshit. I don't have patience for when he reacts to his work shit like this. I get it, he's stressed and it feels like the end of the world. We've all been there. But I'm not his whipping post at home, and he doesn't get upset with me over things like this. This is terrible of me to say, but I really feel like he overreacts to situations or twists words / paraphrases in a way that sounds worse than it really is, e.g. saying his boss essentially said he'd go out of his way to him over. Try to respond by saying that I doubt that's what he meant. People / seniors usually are busier with other things to try and sabotage someone lower's career. For example, he didn't get a posting that he really wanted about a year ago. It was his dream, and he won't get another chance at it for a long time, if at all. I urged him to have a plan B in case he didn't get in, but he refused to think it wasn't a possibility. When he didn't get in, he slumped into a depression for about 1 to 2 weeks. We were long distance during this time and we didn't speak that much during those weeks. One of his best friends texted me saying he was concerned about him etc., but went on saying that he can't react like this when things go wrong. It's fine to be upset for a little while, but to get so low over something that was never guaranteed is just so unhealthy. He puts so much pressure on himself to be this shining star in an organization/situation that quite frankly is so outside of his control, and it's a recipe for disappointment and disaster. Anyways, not sure what I'm looking for. Support maybe, validation that I'm not crazy, guidance for dealing with this in the future. Edit, added in a sentence about dinner. Edit, he's never been deployed or seen combat, so PTSD or adjusting to life back home isn't an issue here. Why on earth is he doing so much work at home? He needs to take decisive action to improve his work/life balance, both in terms of workload and his headspace. There's a reason we all have homes instead of secondary offices. You're not alone at all. This is probably more common than you realize. The problem isn't the 3 feet, the problem is that he gets so caught up in his emotions that he seems to forget that you are a person and that he loves you. In the moment you could say something like, not unless I get some appreciation for what I have already done. But please talk to him when he is calmer as well. He will destroy his home life as well if he doesn't learn to handle this better. Very true. He's calmer this morning, so we'll discuss it after work today or later this week depending how his day goes today. Thanks. My ex is now former military. Split not because of the military, but it was a contributing factor. A lot of this is familiar. Things to consider: has he been deployed, and if so, what psychological assistance or debriefing was provided? What corps is he in? Some are significantly higher stress, more macho with greater expectations that people suck it up and get on with things without ongoing support or assistance. How long has it been since he had a break, and how long has he been in? Burnout and depression can be real issues. What kinds of support does he have in terms of career progression? Has he undergone treatment or assessments for depression, PTSD? Be clear, none of this excuses his behavior, but the military life has very specific challenges for both parties. While you don't want to be a depender, I was not a traditional military wife either. It is definitely worth trying to get a handle on the acronyms and language so you can follow along, if only for your own peace of mind. I would suggest trying to get him to a point where he's relaxed and trying to talk about it. Direct confrontation never worked particularly well for me, but direct communication with specific outcomes or tasks did. It would also be helpful trying to hook in with the other military wives. You won't like all of them, but many will have shared similar challenges. Do not share all of your problems with them, but try to find a support network there. If it gets all too much, and you feel unsafe, you do not have to stay. But this doesn't seem to be the case. He needs to figure out a way of managing stress, but there are a lot of different moving parts here. I say this as a veteran: if he doesn't work to start changing this ASAP, do not marry this person. He has resources he can use. And if he doesn't feel comfortable seeing mental health, he can get a private therapist. But unchanged, his behavior will only get worse given more time, and you'll get a divorce. Point blank. He doesn't get an excuse from his behavior just because he's in the military. He's probably relying on you not understanding so he can keep skating by with treating you like that. But also people/seniors usually are busier with other things to try and sabotage someone low's career. That actually does happen in the military. I, 27F, want to break up with my new BF, 26M, and don't know how to say it. I recently started dating someone last December. We had met online and talked 24/7 for 8 months before meeting in person for the first time in December. I live in TX and he lives in NYC. I thought I would really like him, but I just didn't feel that spark during our first weekend. He asked me to be his girlfriend at the end of the trip, and I said yes because I've never had a real boyfriend and thought it would be good for me to have a relationship, and I did like him, just not in that way, but I thought maybe I just needed more time to grow into it. Anyways, it's been a month and now he has traveled to visit me and he's staying for a week. I have not grown into liking him. In fact, I am incredibly annoyed by him. I can't really put a finger on what it is that bothers me so much about him. We have many similar interests and values, but I'm not attracted to him at all. Sex feels like a chore, and I'm just counting down the days until he leaves. I can tell he feels very differently about me. He's super touchy/kissy, always saying cute things and talking about our future together. I do not want to have a future with him and I'm not sure how to say it or when to say it. Do I wait until I drop him off at the airport or after he leaves? Also, I can't say I want to break up with you because I find you insufferable. Too long didn't read. I don't know how to break up with a new long distance boyfriend that should be perfect on paper but I'm just not attracted to him.